got 3 new mercenaries released. We got Valeera, Trigore, and Sky Admiral. And you're probably asking yourself, what do I level first? What is the good thing to level? What's the bad thing to level? What equipment do I want? And hopefully this is the video to help you. This is a leveling guide for the 3 new characters for Hearthstone Mercenaries. And if this is helpful for you and you want to see more stuff like this, make sure you subscribe. It would help me out a lot. And as always, look fantastic.
I'm a doctor.
We'll start with Valeera because Valeera is the mercenary that I was the most excited for, ergo the one I was leveling up first. And I looked at Valeera's abilities and she has some pretty good ones, but the first thing I noticed was the equipment. So I'm going to focus on the equipment first. Now, Shadow Dagger gets better the more you level it up. It makes Ambush a faster ability, which is pretty good on turn 2. You have Hidden Paths, which I definitely don't think is that bad, but it's definitely the one I don't feel that great about, and I would probably recommend leveling this one last. But then the one that I think is the most important to level is the Unnatural Smoke, because while she's stealth, she's giving your characters, including herself, 4 speed faster, basically until she's unstealth. So that's the equipment you want to focus on, which means for the abilities, you want to focus on Sinister Strike, because what I've been doing with Valeera is basically making sure she's permanently in stealth, using Sinister Strike. And because with the Unnatural Smoke, all of your mercenaries get a little bit faster, you're almost guaranteed to get the combo off with Sinister Strike, which means she can attack, deal damage, go back into stealth immediately, and keep the speed up for your friendly mercenaries. Second of all, I would probably recommend leveling Ambush, because there might be times where you just need to deal a bunch of damage to a caster or whatever mercenary you want to hit. And last but not least, I think Phantom Knives. Now, I think Phantom Knives might actually go up in the leveling rank if you're not planning on leveling up Unnatural Smoke first. Maybe you want the Shadow Dagger instead. But I think generally speaking, I would level up Sinister Strike, Ambush, and Phantom Knives in that order, and then Unnatural Smoke, followed by the Shadow Dagger, followed by Hidden Paths. I think overall, that's probably Valeera's best way of doing her abilities and her equipment. And let's move on to the next character. By the way, if you got the diamond skin for Valeera, just so you know, just so you personally know, I hate your guts and you look fantastic today. Next on the list is Trigore the Lasher. Now, the problem with Trigore is I don't have the right skin for this guy. I need this portrait, the cute one. I wish I could just get this because it's the best one in the game, probably by far. But Trigore unfortunately suffers from not being that good of a mercenary. And you may be looking at all of his abilities and wondering, why haven't I not leveled any of them yet? It's just because I'm just waiting for more coins to do it, because I don't think I'm going to use them in any of my comps. And that's unfortunate, but I do have insight on what abilities I do want to level up first. Now, first one I think is the most important is probably Backlash. Backlash basically just gives you an incremental amount of attack every single time you upgrade it. And I wish this ability said every time an enemy damages an adjacent ally rather than just the next time, because this character goes from like probably D or low C to like probably B just from that one change. But I could get it. Maybe it's too gross. It also gets sped up, which is probably a good thing, but that's probably the ability I would upgrade first. Frenzy Attack just feels so bad to upgrade because you're basically upgrading it for the random damage to an adjacent enemy, which is not bad, but again, it's not super great either. And then Rigor Heads, which I think in PvP might actually never work, because the second you do this, you're basically just asking to die, which is really, really scary. So overall, I think Backlash is the best ability by far, followed by the Frenzied Attack and then the Regrow Heads ability. Now for the equipment, I think just honestly, it's Razor Claw. I don't think there's really any up for debate here, because you just want to make his best ability even better. And maybe there's some beast comp that this could work out very nicely with, but I don't know. I feel bad for Trigore because he's so cool. Second on the list, I would probably do Infused Amber just to make Frenzied Attack deal more damage, but probably always going to be using the Razor Claw no matter what. If you want to get spicy, Regenerative Scales could be really cool because you just get that extra health immediately. But I mean, if you're using this ability and you actually get it off, I don't know. You must be some kind of wizard. Let's just be real here. Sky Admiral Rogers is the last mercenary in this video that we're going to talk about. Now, Sky Admiral has a much more niche use case than I think the Trigore or Valeera has. I think Valeera is just much more just great, where Sky Admiral can be good in a very particular way. Now, she is very unique because I think she's the only caster in the game besides Guff that actually can swing. And that's kind of unique, but that's not the ability that I would level up first. I think the most important ability to level up is Master Tactician. Now, before I even explain why, I know a lot of people are going to be asking, why not firing position? Here's the problem with firing position is that there may not be an opportunity for you to actually cast this. If you think about it logically, sure, this can be casted after all of your characters on the enemy side have done their ability, and sure, you can maybe get a lot of damage, but let's say you're saying this for Diablo or to counter Karen. By the time this ability actually gets to go off, Diablo's already probably killed you or already done enough where this ability just does not matter anymore. So that's why I'm not super optimistic on it, where Master Tactician actually has quite the reason to be upgraded. More damage, more health, whatever you want, but it's also just important to make your ally go next. Now, you're obviously upgrading this because this is probably going to be the ability that you're using Sky Admiral for, but upgrading doesn't really do anything for the speed because it's already too fast. It's just for the damage and healing, which I think is completely fine because it makes this ability a little bit more versatile, where this one is like, you got to just hope that your character doesn't die. This one's definitely not bad. Getting more attack for just doing your bread and butter ability because you're almost, I want to say, guaranteed to use her off the rip, like meaning you're not going to want to put her on the bench. So you could definitely upgrade this one as well. So definitely these two. When it comes down to equipment, it's basically just up to what you want. Do you want to make your tactician ability make the character go last? That is entirely dependent up to you. And I think this is a very versatile equipment. So I do think that this is the one you would want to upgrade if you want to make sure that a character goes last. But you may not actually want to do that. That is completely dependent on the context of the game and what your comp is going for. Maybe you want to make Diablo go last, so this is perfect. Maybe you want to make one of your abilities go first or one of your own mercenaries go first. So I would not recommend leveling that up if you feel like you're not going to need it. So if you're not going to use this ability, I generally think the best ability here is probably Scout Spyglass, just off the rip. Now, the reason why is because you're almost guaranteed. I mean, you are guaranteed to probably attack turn one unless you just don't want to swing, which means by upgrading this, you are just dealing AoE damage, which could be quite great, where with this ability, you're only really gaining a little bit more attack, which could be relevant against a specific fighter. Maybe you want to deal more damage to Samaro until you realize this is slower than Samaro. So I don't like this ability. I don't like this equipment. Sorry, I don't like this equipment. This ability is fine, but I don't like the equipment. I'd rather just use the Scout Spyglass in the hope that maybe we get to do some AoE damage. But I do think that the main equipment you might want to upgrade here is the ship spell. But again, it entirely depends on what you want to go for Sky Admirable. I hope this video was helpful. And if it was, I would appreciate a sub and a like, but all good if you don't want to. I know it's hard out there. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one.